Welcome back, seventh graders. We are in week 6, lesson 1. We're on topic 6, lesson 2 in our textbook, specifically on page 301 to 302. As always, a mini quiz. What was your homework from last week? A, there was no homework. B, week 5 quiz. C, dinosaur essay. Or D, research project. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Remember always if I didn't say it and you don't recognize it, it's probably not the answer, so we can get rid of research project. We can also get rid of there was no homework because unfortunately that just wasn't true. Correct answer is week 5 quiz. That's what you should have worked on last week. If you had extra time, you should have made up some work. You have 4 chances for the week 5 quiz. So if you weren't happy the first or second time, you still got 2 more chances. I will take the highest grade you get from those 4 tries. All right, let's move on to the lesson. So last week and the week before, we were talking a lot about fossil fuels and some problems that we had with fossil fuels. And just to jog your memory, fossil fuels are non-renewable resources, so it's just a matter of time before they run out. So that's a big problem. Another problem is that they cause a lot of pollution in our sky, in our water, and on our land. Also, they're unequal throughout Earth, so people will fight over having those resources, especially oil. So what are we supposed to do? Obviously, these are major problems, so what should we use instead? That's our goal of today, is to find out more about renewable resources and alternative energy. Alternative means like another choice. Let's review renewable resources because that's not our first time hearing this word. Renewable resources are resources that can be used again or replenished. Another way to say replenish is get more of. Some examples of renewable resources: solar or sun power. You've got water, and you also have trees. I mean, I know that we will cut down trees in order to make wood and paper, but we can always replant them. And if we're really careful, we can replenish them. All right, so we're going to focus today on solar energy. So there's 2 types of solar energy. I have what's called passive solar energy and active solar energy. And we've also heard passive and active before. So in passive solar energy, you don't need to do any extra action to use the sun's power. So passive means no energy. You can think of it like lazy, versus active, which is going to be the opposite. We're going to need to put something in order to use the solar energy, and what we're going to need to use are something called solar cells. No, they're not related to cells of organisms that we've been learning about. It's just another word. We also say battery cells, so we're really just uncreative in how we use our words sometimes in science. Let's start with passive solar energy first. We're going to see a picture right now of Jan the Man's garden. This is an actual picture from Jan the Man. Jan the Man is my dad. He's a really good gardener. He's such a good gardener that in the summertime, we don't really buy vegetables. We just take them from a garden. So my sister and I will go over there occasionally and just steal stuff from him. Squash, zucchini, tomatoes, cucumbers, basil. I think I might have already said basil. Anyways, but he prepares early, so he probably started getting ready maybe a month ago, and he has this kind of setup. What you see is a clear plastic bin that lets the sun in, and those red solo cups, those are seedlings or baby plants. And the reason why he puts this up is because he's actually outside, and what happens is the sun will come in, and then the heat from the sun will actually get trapped inside that plastic bin, and it will keep the plants warm because, as you know, it's been kind of snowy lately in Buffalo. So you got to protect those baby seedlings because they're only little and they can't take really, really harsh weather conditions. So this is super crazy passive. He doesn't add any energy. He doesn't do anything extra but just put that plastic bin on. And it's very, very similar to how a greenhouse will work, but just in a much bigger scale. So if you've ever been to the Erie Botanical Gardens, that is a very old greenhouse that I find quite beautiful. Moving into active solar energy, remember active, we're going to need to use solar cells in order for this to work. So we have to design something that does the work for us. So this is what one single solar cell looks like. It's quite thin. And what they do, these special solar cells, is they capture sunlight and they convert or change it into electricity. And that electricity we can use to power our house. Like you'll see with this picture, you have a bunch of these solar cells together make up one square. We call that a solar panel. Maybe sometimes driving around, you'll see like these solar panels on houses, and that's going to provide enough electricity for that house to run, for it to run TV and maybe lights and power cell phones. And you can even go on a much bigger scale for solar farms, and that's going to help power like almost entire cities and countries. Okay, so there's going to be pros and cons of solar energy, like everything that we've been learning about so far. So let's start with the pros. Let's be positive. They're a renewable resource, so we'll never run out of it. And they cause less pollution. There's no burning of anything. There's no CO2 going out into our atmosphere. Some cons are that they're very expensive to start up. Eventually you get your money back, but you need to have that money to invest in it. So for a lot of people right now, it's just not an option. Something else that isn't really fair is not all places get equal sunlight. Even think about Buffalo. We probably have more cloudy days than we do sunny days. So if you're living in a place that's really, really cloudy, it might not be the best resource for you. Let's end with a little mini quiz. The country of Germany uses a lot of solar power and has around 500 solar farms. What type of solar power are they using? Just to let you know, a solar farm is made up of solar panels, which is made up of solar cells. So is that A, passive, B, active, C, diffusion, or D, geothermal? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, if it's not mentioned in the lesson, it's probably not the answer. We didn't talk about geothermal. And diffusion is when you have movements of gas and liquid from high to low. So that's not the correct answer. Correct answer is active, because without those solar cells, we would not be able to capture the sun's energy. All right, guys, that is it for today. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good rest of the day.